Right, morning, morning. Welcome, everybody. Is it better to be liked or respected? I think it'd be better to be both, but the question is, which way do we go? And we were just talking about it before the session started. But Rob, seeing that this was your topic, I'm going to kick it straight across to you. See where you go with this one.
I was hoping I could sit and listen because I've been mulling this over without any definite answer for decades. So in my early years, being perhaps less experienced and very naive, I was always of the opinion that respect was so important, was the most important. If you had to choose between the two, it's better to be respected. However, later on in my career, I found that people that I didn't respect, people that I thought were just opportunists, but when they went to the pub at night, they would gather around the sales director and, well, keep him company, let's say. And those were the people that got ahead. So I guess it depends on what's important to you and why you work on whichever you work on. I think it goes without doubt that if you're not liked, people will kind of shy away from you. People will not want to work with you, so you can't really go along in life being unlikable. There's a name for a new book, with all unbreakable and this and whatever. We can have a book called Unlikable, and the results are there. So I'm kind of thinking that in order to establish any kind of rapport with anybody, you need to be liked to start off with. Respect is earned, respect takes time, and like can be done pretty quickly. Another view I have on like is that in a relationship, and I've been married for 50 years, in a relationship, it moves over time, and like becomes the most important thing in one's relationship later in life. Because the heat of the moment, love, and eventually I think like is something that you have to be able to like your partner to be able to have a continued meaningful relationship. So in those circumstances, on a personal note, I think it's more important to be liked. That's me.
Good. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, well, some people say, fear and respect go together, but yeah, maybe someone will pick up on that one. So, there's no one that we fear or respect in this group, but so let's get across to Trevor next.
No, so as Rob was talking about like, I thought, geez, what a blooming softie. I mean, this is love-hate, for goodness sake. 50 years of marriage. There's only two opposites here. You can't sit in the middle with just like, oh, please like me. It's either love or it's hate, and that happens on a daily basis. But I better not talk too loud. My wife is here because we've been afflicted by this. Stop laughing at me, Toby. So we've been afflicted by this COVID bug. My daughter has got it, so she's isolated, and so be very careful because we're all being very careful, and it's still hitting in a big way. Now, what was the topic, please? Someone tell me. I was confused, Rob, when you came on board. What is the actual topic? I've been too busy.
Is it better to be liked or respected?
Oh, geez, this is an easy one. You know what? If you have to like me, or I have to actually do things to get you to like me, you're not worth actually getting to know. In fact, that was great, Rob. You're talking about individuals who had these groups of people around at the pub after hours. If there was anything that I actually totally disliked and disrespected in a big way, was individuals who felt that they had power in the game and had their minions sitting around their feet. I will never forget an operation that I had taken a franchise opportunity. This must have been in the mid-80s. And the guy who headed up the franchise opportunity basically was a power broker, almost a Trumpian type individual. And so he was a narcissist. And he invited all of us up to a Berg meeting. And at this Berg meeting, my wife and I, we were newly married at that time. Well, newly married, we were about 4 or 5 years married. And we went up and we arrived a little bit late. And we happened to walk into this guy sitting on a high chair with all of these grown adults sitting on the floor around him. And I mean, it was the funniest thing ever, and they couldn't see what was going on. And as we walked in, he happened to turn around and we heard him clearly state, "You people," or "I don't need you people. You people need me." Well, we immediately turned around and we said, "Well, thank you very much. We're out of here. Cheers." And we went straight back home. I shoved that blooming thing in. I sold the business, but it happened to be timed extremely well because I then took a 30% and management control of Academy of Learning, and that became the largest education franchise in the country. So I must tell you, I have zero respect for people who want to be liked. And I really don't give a stuff whether people like me or not, as long as I like myself, and 1 or 2 people around me might happen to like me for being the type of individual I am. And Rob, I've grown up all my life with people turning around and saying I am brutally honest. Do I like that title? No, I don't like it. I love it, man.
Okay, well, we're all sitting on the floor. Trevor, you're on your high chair. We'll have
Oh,
to...
no, yeah, but now listen to this. You don't need me, I need you. Please don't just... So I've learned a lot. Please like me.
Oh, if you're big enough, we'll consider it. So get on your knees. And talking about getting on your knees, let's get across to Jesper, because yeah, I know he likes everyone.
Morning, everybody. You need me. I don't need you. I think when you did that topic, I also came in late because I got stuck with something else. But I thought the topic is love versus respect, and not liked versus respect, because liked and love to me are 2 totally different meanings. But let's go down that road. So I fully agree with Trevor. People who, and there's no problem with you know, when kids grow up, that's part of the mechanism through which affirmation and making them feel special is what, you know, some of the tools as a parent that you can have to help steer them in the right direction. But if as an adult in the business world, your whole thing is to be liked, and unfortunately, I think the whole social media, I mean, they even have this thing, a little button that says like. So people measure their popularity by how many likes do I get. And then comes a rude awakening that you could have 1 million likes, and come election time, nobody likes you, nobody votes for you. So that like doesn't mean a thing. So your influence is not measured by your likes. But unfortunately, I think the reality is a lot of people are spending their whole life to try and be liked. And I wonder how many unhappy marriages are there with they trying to, you know, the girl or the boy has this thing, you know, make me feel liked. And when, like Trevor says, when the realities of marriage hit, then, you know, there's no chance to like each other. You have to work through issues. And that's where deep love comes in. So love is another thing. So I want to focus in on love. Love is for me then your deeds, your sacrifice, your service, and then that makes you lovable. And I think you're on a typical scenario of maybe a grandmother with a granddaughter, or a you know, normally a grandson or a grandfather picture comes into mind here, and the one just dotes on the other one. And in hindsight, when that boy or girl grows up, they think fondly of their parents or their grandparents, but they realize the sacrifice that was made. And then respect. You know, respect, you can't be forced. And I think a lot of people mistake likability or like for respect. I mean, you can even be someone who grates on other people, but they can still respect you. And we've got such characters here on the forum. One of the characters sits in the middle of my screen. But what do we respect people for? We respect people for their qualities. We respect people for their abilities, and we respect people for their achievements. That means there's work. Those people have put in the work so that we can recognize their qualities. Those people have put in the work that today we can see their achievements. So don't worry about respect. Respect will find you if you put in the work and you do what needs to be done. And don't worry about love. People will love you if you put in the service and the sacrifice. But likability, well, I don't know. Try and form another party and try another color from red or whatever. But I'm like Trevor. I'm not too fussed about the likability factor.
Sure. Now there's a revelation. Jasper and Trevor are like, oh dear, what have we gotten ourselves into here? I don't know. To be so, you better tell us which way this needs to go.
Well, I think that to be liked in the era of social media is just everything, you know. It is a sort of social currency, you know. It opens up doors and you can make a lot of money in a sense of being a social media influencer, you know. It is so big and so important that people do whatever to be liked, you know. They post naked pictures, they add fuel to negative comments, they spread misinformation, just anything, you know, and everything for those likes, because they validate you in this digital sphere, you know. It is everything, you know. People change so much to be liked, you know. They add filters to their pictures, they do stupid and foolish things, for lack of a better word, you know. They do anything and everything to just be famous, you know, because, you know, being famous means the adoration of just your peers, you know. It equates to monetary compensation, you know. It is exclusive invitations and the opportunity to influence and to implement change in the eyes of society, you know, because you have that influence. It is social status and likes in this day and age of social media is more valuable than gold. You know, being respected, on the other hand, doesn't have that prestige, you know. It is boring and just slow, you know. To get respect, you have to earn it. And often you earn respect through your actions, you know. It is, you know, when respect is a mutual understanding based on the values that both parties cherish, you know. To be respected is hard work and it actually requires consistency, you know. It is to push yourself, it is to deliver, but, you know, that's not enough, because even with all that, you can just lose, you know, somebody respect in just a minute, you know. Respect like filters. So you work like years and decades to build up your respect, and it can go just like that, you know. To be respected is to be a figurehead that everybody likes, you know, wishes to emulate. It is to be a standard. It is disciplines. It is values. To be respected is to be a role model. You know, it is a lot of work. It is difficult to be a role model because everyone just projects onto you, you know, and you can't let anybody down, you know. So you have to be exemplary, you know. I think that to be like will get you expedient results, you know, while being respected will serve you for life, you know. Um, to so which is better? Which is better, to be like or to be respected? You know, I think that it depends, you know, because I think that both can actually get you amazing results, you know. So to be liked or to be respected, I can't choose. I'll just take them both, you know. So I think I'll just end it there. So thank you, Ivan.
All right, thanks, Tippy. So, all right, well, there's a different perspective for all of us old fogies. Well, some of us old fogies, you know, some of us are not that old, but on this platform. So, Lee, let's get across to you next.
It's good to reflect on these questions. It's a simple question, and yet I did make me think across my life, and to ask myself what is it that I have chosen as a path for myself. And I realized there have been different parts of my life, like Rob, maybe there's been different times in my life where one has been more of a focus than the other. So at school, remember, I'm the head girl. I am the one that you must abide by the rules. So respect for me was the most important thing. And I would put my friends in detention if they broke the rules. Didn't make me very likable. So that in that instance, you know, I saw that respect actually was my go-to in those days. Then I stepped into the church environment, and I would argue my case, or I would put forward a particular thing that I thought was important. And I wasn't very well liked. And the likability impacted the relationship to such an extent that it was affecting my husband's work and and what was happening in the community. So here is a close-knit community that I'm the minister's wife, and I'm causing friction. So I hope I didn't have to work too hard to be likable, but I had to change my perspective in terms of, was it better that I won an argument, or that I was respected for what I believed in, no matter what? Or was it better to let go some of that stuff and just build relationships, build the rapport, connect with people, and ensure that the community, the oils of the community were, well, the wheels of the community were well oiled. And so likability and being liked was definitely the focus during that time. The difficulty with that is that you start to feel that other people's expectations of you take priority over who you are as a person. And I felt like I was being pushed from pillar to post. I must be this for this person and this for this person, and I need to do this, and I need to, you know, be here. And at the end of the day, you can't. It's just too much to live your life according to other people's expectations. It's a sure recipe for disaster. And eventually I had to say, no, I can't. Other people's expectations are not the rulers of my life. They're not the measure. I'm losing my words. It's not the measure of my life. And so to be, I think part of being liked is just to like yourself. And if you're comfortable in your own skin, then however you come across, that's okay with people. So that was the other lesson. Then to take up what Rob was saying, I stepped into business. And I'm sorry, guys, people don't really buy from you if they don't like you. They don't. There has to be a connection. There has to be a relationship. There has to be some kind of belief that you are somebody that they want to do business with. At the same time, and I can get that likability. I can get that likability quite quickly. But they also won't buy from you if they don't respect you. They don't believe that you know what you know, that you can do what you say you're going to do. You have to show up professionally. You have to deliver. You have to know what you should know, answer the questions. And so that respect has to be there as well. So they can like you, but if they don't respect you, they're also not going to buy. The other way around, yeah, they'll respect you, but is it really going to be for the long term? I don't know. So that's from a sales perspective. So there was one other thing I wanted to say, but it's not in my mind. So let's give Edward some space.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I'll buy some of that from you. But yeah, we'll have to see where that goes. So Ed, yeah.
And Ivan, sorry.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, at least you remember.
Yeah, I liked that Jasper took the Trevor Amendment and talked about love and respect. But of course, I lost a bit of respect for him for not following Lee's rules and sticking to the subject. And I think respect and like are two entirely different things. They have different spectrums. I think, like has a very long spectrum. We can like having a beer down the pub with someone, but he's not a bosom buddy. And then, we can like someone almost as close as love, and it's a long-term relationship. So I think like's got a really long spectrum, whereas respect's got a very short one. People have to do specific things to earn our respect, and we've talked about them. And when Trevor was speaking, he reminded me of something that happened the other day. This person was talking about the flight and fight reaction. And I sort of chipped in, because I always chip in, and said, well, you've forgotten about the freeze aspect of it, because that's an important part, flight, fight, or freeze. And a bit like this forum, it was quite an open forum, and someone else came in and said, yeah, but Edward, you've forgotten about fawn. Which is, what if you think about a young puppy when it meets an aggressive dog, that's what the thing does. And Trevor, when he talks about his wife, does the perfect mimic of fawning. And we get a lot of people who fawn to get likes. And I think Tobiso touched on it with social media. And someone else mentioned, you might get loads of likes, but no one votes for you. And I think people that fawn lose all respect. And Trevor doesn't fawn, he mimics fawning, but there you go. But it was interesting, talking about social media, the other day, I think I mentioned the fact that people kept talking about this G7 legacy from for Cornwall, which wasn't a G7 legacy, or something from the past. Well, this is being recorded, so I won't mention the name, but an allegedly august organisation in Cornwall put on social media about this G7 legacy and all that sort of stuff. It was on LinkedIn, and I commented on it. just pointing out quite politely that they got it wrong. And they deleted my comment. So I now feel really good that I've been affected by cancel culture. So I emailed them because I wasn't going to have that. And I very politely in my email, and they came back and blamed the post on an over-enthusiastic intern wanting to spread a good news story. And that was a lie, because I know who removed my post because she'd looked at my profile beforehand. And if she thought that was an over-enthusiastic thing, she'd have removed the post. So respect disappeared then, because I did respect that person. I did respect that organization. But through a lie, they've lost all respect. So it's very easy to lose respect, because I say it's a very short spectrum. And you can be friends with someone and you can respect them. You can be friends with someone and not respect them. The fact they might delete my social media post doesn't mean to say that I won't have a coffee with them or have a beer with them. But yeah, and I think about my sister when I think about respect. When she got married, her husband had 3 children, all who lived with his ex-wife. And within a couple of years, they all then lived with my sister. And a couple of years later, one of them worked for me. I said, why on earth did you go and live with my sister? She's a harridan, you know, which is scary. And they said, you know what? Our mum would let us do anything we liked. And she'd buy us stuff and all that sort of stuff, unless it didn't suit her, and then she wouldn't. So when a boyfriend came round, that was it, you know. She would go out with a boyfriend, she wouldn't take us horse riding over. She said, your sister, whatever she said, she did. Okay, she might have said you have to be home at 10 o'clock, and you had to be home at 10 o'clock. But if she said she was going to take you horse riding, she took you horse riding. If she said she would pick you up at 9:30 in the morning, she'd pick you up at 9:30. And they respected that. And they now love her, you know, tremendously. They just worship her. So I think respect can turn into friendship or love or whatever. So that's just my ramblings on the subject. And I think probably really good friends will appreciate that you have to abide by the rules. So when you're the prefect, you put them on detention. They will forgive you because they understand. Shallow friends won't. And if they respect you, they respect what you're doing. And I can respect people I don't like. I just want to criticize Lee a little bit, having just praised her earlier on. You said people won't buy you if they don't like you. People won't buy from you if they don't respect you. I don't like Jeff Bezos. I don't respect Jeff Bezos. I buy from Amazon. I think if you're a consultant, and always remember what the first 3 letters mean, people have to like you and respect you. But if you're selling goods, people have to like the goods. They don't have to like the seller. That's my thoughts.
Sure, thanks, Ed. Yeah, well, you know, who put the con into consultant? I don't know, but you know, it definitely came from somewhere. I think for me it is an interesting topic, and I'm not sure that I entirely agree with Ed. So Ed, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think you can't truly respect somebody unless you do like them, because is it really respect then? You might just be giving them some credit. You might be saying, okay, well, you know, they've done something, but I don't really like you, so do I really respect you? I'm having a little bit of a tussle in my mind with this one. I don't think you can truly respect someone if you don't like them, because surely that's part of the process. For me, respect says, I like what you do. I like the way you think. I like the way you operate. And there we've got 3 likes to your respect. You know, to be so, it doesn't have to be millions of likes. But I liked what you said about that perception that social media creates, and that likes are everything, and can earn you money, which is really interesting. I see Rob felt that if he'd had more likes, so you didn't have your like button obvious enough in your day, Rob. No one could press it and pay you more. So it's funny how the world has inverted things, hasn't it? I mean, the social media world. So respect, as everyone said, I mean, respect definitely has to be earned, and so the question is, how do you earn it? And I think one earns it through authenticity. I think if you are continually practicing what I like to call situational ethics and situational morals, you have no authenticity, and therefore you're not going to have any respect. So, you know, to be yourself, to be authentic, to stick to what you believe in, you know, that may not get you liked. And there I go against myself, but it might get you some respect. But I think at the end of the day, you know, if you are truly authentic, people will actually get to like you and recognize the value in what you stand for and what you believe in, and then ultimately respect you. So I think respect without liking is fake, put it bluntly. Yeah.
Ivan, has everyone had a turn to talk?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. We had an instance yesterday, which was a complete surprise, of an individual who we didn't know. We were talking about him. Do you remember Robbie? And he came on board. Would you like to mention that? I mean, it was a surprise, exactly what you were talking about yesterday.
Yeah. We were having a meeting with some guys, and this chap's name got mentioned, and then next minute he joined the Zoom session, and we found out that he was actually working with these chaps. But I mean, you know, he came on and he said exactly that. He said, Trevor's integrity and the way he deals with things may not get him to be liked, but that was what is important, was the integrity and the fact that he looked at those situations and didn't change. And I think that, that was completely unsolicited. It came, the guy just popped onto the meeting, and I mean, those were sort of his opening comments were when you deal with someone, it's good to know that they're going to stand by what they say. So yeah, it was an interesting direction that it came in. I mean, we were talking about various CEOs and big business people and things that were done in communities and so on.
So from my perspective, the discussion was about serious players who were at listed company level. They'd broken away purely because they were not being respected in the current scenario in the country. And they were looking to sell us on who they were and what they were doing. And effectively, I was being brutally honest in my assessment of what I'd seen from a first impression point of view. And I was being brutally honest on behalf of our team's perspective. And that was to say, is this worth our while as a team to be spending time to be working with you guys? Because there's got to be a win-win in this. And as we were talking through how different people assess situations, this guy came on board, and I think he'd been called on board because he was a stakeholder, and we had mentioned that we knew Robbie from a previous bit of work that we had done together on mobile fixed lines and all this sort of thing. And it was so interesting that his external view on the integrity of someone just turned around and said, okay, that's why this guy's talking the way that he's talking, because most people would not have done what I did yesterday, Ivan, and that was to turn around and say, okay, let's make an assessment as to not beating around the bush, how we can all make money together on this thing, and what's got to be done, and let's do this by Friday. You could see that they weren't used to that. And he came in and said, no, what this guy says, it's just done. So we now, the strength is on our side. We're able to negotiate from a perspective of they respect that these guys do what they say. So if we say yes, they're going to be with us. If we say no, they're going to understand, and everyone moves on. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's important to get that clarity so you can move quickly. You don't spend hours going around in circles trying to unravel vagaries and uncertainty. So good. All right. I think that's probably where we can wrap it up. Topic for tomorrow.
So tomorrow is our business fundamentals Thursday. So Thursdays are business fundamentals in the Life of Wisdom's chats. So we're picking up a topic that because we missed last Thursday because we were running the Wisdom's Global Leadership Masterclass. And so this Thursday, we're going to be talking about what advice would you give to a startup? What advice would you give to a startup?
Good. All right. So we'll get started up tomorrow morning, but we are back in a few minutes at the top of the hour in the UK. So back at 9 o'clock South African time, UK, 8 o'clock UK time, and then back again at 3 p.m. South African time this afternoon, 8 a.m. American Central Time, all on the same Zoom call. So if you, same Zoom ID. So if you can join us to those. Otherwise, we'll see what advice we can dial out and see if we can get any respect for that tomorrow morning. So otherwise, have a good one, folks. We'll see you then. Cheers now.